Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing well today. In this video, I'm going to talk about my dad creating a Blockfi account. He recently retired and he wanted to put some of his money to productive use. So I told him about Blockfi and what I'm doing with some of my own funds. And I knew he was the type that didn't want to have too much exposure to crypto. So for that reason, I thought Blockfi would be the ideal place for him to put his US dollars. And he likes to trade a little bit. He was going in and out of Litecoin to pay for some of the renovations on his house. So I knew he wanted to not only earn some interest on his crypto, but he also wanted the ability to trade his crypto. And Blockfi offers all these tools and much more. Blockfi is aiming to build a full suite wealth management service. In the beginning, they started out by offering loans, then they started offering an interest product, and recently they started allowing users to trade on the platform with no fees. And in this video, not only am I going to show you guys how to get started, but I'm also going to show you a potential way to earn some interest on your fiat and on your crypto and easily spend the earned interest. If you guys found any of that somewhat intriguing, I strongly encourage you guys to watch this video in its entirety. And after opening the account and depositing your funds, maybe you'll have some questions, some concerns that you need addressed in a timely manner. Or maybe you're just looking for a group of like-minded individuals to share thoughts and insights. Either way, I welcome you guys to join my Discord community. We have people there from all around the world with diverse backgrounds, and I have to say it's probably one of the best groups in all of Discord. Not only are they helpful in addressing questions and concerns amongst fellow community members, but they're also a very fun group of people. Now, if that sounds like a community you want to be a part of, you can easily join that community by following me on Twitter and sending me a private message requesting access to that Discord channel. On the other hand, some of you guys may be looking for a more personalized touch. I offer educational and consultation services through Patreon. You can access my Patreon page by clicking in the description below. I'll provide a link for you guys there. If you become one of my Patreons, you'll get quick and immediate access to me at all hours of the day. Additionally, your requests and inquiries will be addressed before everybody else's. And for a short while, I'm going to be offering the first few members that decide to sign up a special 50% discount. Again, if you want to access those services, you can click in the description below. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this video review. Before I begin with the tutorial, I just wanted to give you guys some context behind my dad's decision to deposit as much as he did onto Blockfi. At the beginning, he was very hesitant, but I explained to him their business model, who's backing them. I mean, we have Coinbase Ventures that's backing them. We have Fidelity, Peter Thiel. I mean, a whole bunch of credible people have invested money into Blockfi and are supporting them in many different capacities. And in terms of their business model, they're basically giving over-collateralized loans to help generate the yield that they give to people who deposit their assets onto the platform. So that basically means that if someone wants to borrow $10,000, they would have to give up $20,000 worth of crypto assets to borrow that $10,000. As long as the risk management side of the business is doing their job, that $20,000 will make certain that the person borrowing the $10,000 will inevitably pay back the $10,000. If they don't, or if the price of Bitcoin or the crypto asset that they give up as collateral falls too much too fast, they also have mechanisms in place to liquidate those funds before they hit a certain price point. Again, as long as that side of the business is doing their job right, the loan is basically risk-free for the lender. They also lend the crypto out to large institutions that engage in exchange arbitrage. In this video, we're not going to focus too much on that. If you want to know more about that, I've recorded an AMA that the CEO of Blockfi hosted. And in that video, he does a pretty thorough job of explaining their entire business model, how they generate the yield. And he also goes into the risk management side of the business that helps make sure that they don't lose any of their depositors' funds. And they must be doing something right because to date, they haven't lost a single penny. And if you guys think about it, whenever you guys deposit money into banks, they're taking your money and they're also lending it out. They're also using your money to make more money for themselves. But in return, you're not getting a lot out of it. I mean, most banks are offering anywhere between, 0.25 to 1 to 2%. And now the Fed's talking about cutting the rates again. So by depositing your funds in the bank, you're basically getting nothing for it. All you're doing is enriching the banks. However, the banks do have FDIC insured accounts. So people feel safe leaving their money in banks even though they're not getting a respectable yield. Unfortunately, with Blockfi, they don't offer FDIC insured accounts yet, and it's very probable that they won't get them anytime in the near future. However, Blockfi custodies with the Gemini custody, and Gemini just launched Captive Insurance Company, which now has the most custody insurance coverage in the crypto market. The custody solution gives Gemini custody $200 million in insurance coverage, the largest limit of insurance coverage purchased by any crypto custodian in the world. And you guys have to understand that these insurance companies, they're just getting started. I mean, crypto is a relatively young industry, so it's going to be a while before they're able to offer more comprehensive insurance products at a lower cost. But in my view, as the digital asset industry becomes more legitimized and it becomes more regulated and tamed, I just see over time these insurance products becoming more robust and comprehensive. So with all that being said, if you're interested in depositing your funds on Blockfi, currently Blockfi is offering 8.6% on USD that you deposit onto the platform, form of a USD based stablecoin. Currently they support USDC and GUSD. And from a recent interview, the CEO of Blockfi did mention that they plan to raise those rates. But at the time of recording, the current rates are 8.6% and they compound on a monthly basis. I'm recording this just before the day they send out the monthly statements in which they tell you how much interest you've accrued and your total ending balance plus the interest. And in that report, they basically detail how much money that you started with, how much interest you've accrued, and what your balance looks like with the addition of the new interest. You'll get those reports at the beginning of every month, and that's roughly the time that you also get the new interest deposited into your accounts. If you're interested in seeing what that report looks like, you guys can click the upper right hand corner of your screen. I currently manage an account for one of my buddies, and he gave me permission to use his account in one of my tutorial videos for Blockfi. I'll also include another link towards the end of the video. And don't worry if you don't click the link up there in the right hand corner of your screen. If you missed it, I'll include that link towards the end of the video. So make sure you guys watch this video in its entirety. Now to get started, my dad used Coinbase as an on-ramp. He deposited his USD onto Coinbase, converted that to USDC, and then sent that over to Blockfi. Some people claim that Gemini is much faster, so if you want to use that route, you want to use Gemini Exchange instead. I'll include a link in the description below where I show you guys the easiest way to get your USD converted to Gemini dollar and deposit it onto your Blockfi account. I also know people that like to use Voyager, and if that's a platform that you're interested in, you can watch a full video tutorial by clicking the upper right hand corner of your screen. For this tutorial, I'll show you guys how to use Coinbase. To use Coinbase to transfer your USD to Blockfi, all you need to do is first go here to Coinbase. Once you go to Coinbase, there's multiple ways to navigate to the USDC screen. With this example, I'll show you how to do it by clicking on prices. It'll show you all the tokens that they support. I'm going to go ahead and click on trade. Here on the screen, you basically enter in the amount of US dollars that you would like to be converted from your bank account to USDC and then deposited onto Coinbase. And again, USDC is the stable coin that we will be sending to Blockfi. Once you've purchased your USDC, you go to your USD portfolio by clicking here on portfolio and clicking on the USDC coin. Once you're here on this page, you'll see that your 10 USD, your fiat from your bank account, has been converted to USDC and deposited into your USDC wallet on Coinbase. But this doesn't mean I can take out the funds that I just deposited onto Coinbase. I still have to wait for that ACH transfer to clear, and that usually takes about 3 to 5 business days, typically 3 days if you already have an established Coinbase account. Once those 3 to 5 days has elapsed, you'll get an email notification. And once you get that email notification, you can go ahead and transfer your USDC to Blockfi. And to do that, we need to get the USDC address of our Blockfi account. To access your USD address on Blockfi, you need to click on deposit at the top of your screen. Here, you go ahead and select USDC. It's here all the way at the bottom. And on this page here, you can see that this here at the bottom is my wallet address. Click on this icon here to copy the address. You can see that it's been copied. Go back to your Coinbase account. Click send. Enter the USDC address here in this box. we'll paste it. And before you guys move forward with the transaction, it's just a good idea to double check the addresses match. If they don't, it's unlikely Coinbase will let you send it, but it's just a good practice to have. And since I only had $1.24 to begin with, I'll go ahead and send that $1.24. Once you enter the amount that you want to send, click continue. And when you use the USDC option through Coinbase, they do charge a network fee. I noticed when I use Gemini, they don't. So if you're worried about a network fee, you guys can use the Gemini exchange instead. Again, I'll include a link in the description below to show you guys how that process works. And once you're on this page, you click confirm. And with that, you're set. Your transaction should be on the way. You can see once you're back on your Blockfi page that the $1.24 that I sent over has been deposited onto my dad's Blockfi account. Now let's say you guys have other coins that you want to deposit. You can deposit them as well. Coinbase, for example, supports Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, USDC. So you basically follow the same process that I outlined for USDC for those other coins to get them deposited onto the Blockfi platform. And the interest that you guys earn is prorated. So if you deposit halfway through the month, on your first statement, you'll get half the interest that you would have gotten if your funds were deposited for the entire length of the month. And the same thing applies to when you're trading. Let's say, 5 days, 10 days into the month, you decided to convert your USDC into Litecoin. The interest rate distribution that you would receive for those assets would also be prorated depending on the day that you guys executed that trade. Now, when it comes to withdrawals, just know that the first withdrawal that you do in a month is free, but the subsequent withdrawals, they do charge a fee. The fee depends on which crypto asset that you would decide to withdraw. And on top of that, they have a very rigorous screening process. So in practice, it typically takes up to 24 hours for the average withdrawal to be completed. But just note that it could potentially take up to 7 days. If you're interested in adding an additional layer of security to your Blockfi account, you can whitelist certain addresses. What this does is once enabled, when withdrawing, you'll only be able to withdraw to a pre-selected address. This way, if your account for whatever reason becomes compromised, the person withdrawing the funds will only be able to withdraw them to the whitelisted address. This is not something that you have to do, but it's an option if you wanted that extra layer of security. To withdraw your funds, you just click here at the top of your screen on withdraw. Click on the asset that you would like to withdraw. We'll click USDC. Here, you basically select the amount that you want to withdraw and the address that you would like it sent to. Also note there's limits to how much you can actually withdraw on a monthly basis. So for example, if you wanted to withdraw Bitcoin, you can only withdraw 100 for a 7-day period. If you have stable coins, you can withdraw up to 1 million per 7-day period. And here in the rightmost column, you can see the fees associated with drawing your funds. And again, I want to reiterate that the first withdrawal is on the house, so you won't be charged for that first withdrawal that you do, and you get one free withdrawal per month. Now I'll show you guys how to trade your assets. So not only can you deposit assets and earn an interest, but if at any time your investment thesis changes, for example, you think maybe Litecoin is overbought, or maybe all of a sudden you're bullish on the cryptocurrency space, well, you can actually convert your assets on the platform. To do this, you click on trade at the top of your screen. On the right here, you select the cryptocurrency that you want to exchange. So let's say my dad becomes bullish on Ethereum and he wants to buy some. To do that, he can convert his USDC to Ethereum directly on Blockfi. To do that, we'll click on USDC, select the crypto that we want to convert to, which is Ethereum, and here you enter the amount of Ethereum you would like to buy. So let's say my dad wanted to buy 10. So if I move forward with this transaction, you can see that a little bit over $2,000 will be converted to 10 Ethereum. And here you'll see what the conversion rate is. And it's going to be very competitive. Unlike the exchanges that you buy Ethereum on this platform, they pool liquidity with multiple partners. So you can be assured you're getting some of the best prices for Ethereum. And on top of that, you're not going to be charged any fees. When my dad would do his trades with Litecoin, he was charged, 100, $200. Here on BlockFi, not only is he going to get the best price for Litecoin, but he's not going to be charged at $100 or $200 that he normally would be charged for trading. And before you guys decide to use this feature, just remember that you do have trade limits. So you can see here on this page that the trade limit is $50,000. And once this trade is executed, the USD will get converted to Ethereum, and immediately your Ethereum will start earning some interest. In my view, this is a lot better than keeping your assets on Coinbase because number one, Coinbase charges pretty high fees, some of the highest in the crypto market. Secondly, your USDC there only earns you about 1% or 2%. Thirdly, they don't offer any interest on the ETH that you deposit with them. You can see here that there are clear benefits to depositing your assets on BlockFi as opposed to, let's say, Coinbase or another cryptocurrency exchange. Before we start talking about the interest rates and comparing interest rates across multiple platforms, I wanted to show you guys one more feature on the platform, which is to take out loans. This was probably the first service that this started with. And what this allows users to do is basically use their Bitcoin as collateral to take out loans. And the advantage there is that, let's say that you need some short-term liquidity. You don't want to create a taxable event, but you want some liquidity, for, let's say, to diversify your portfolio. And if you guys want to learn more about that in greater detail, I've done a review video on it. You can check out that video by looking in the description box below. But let's say, for example, you had $50,000 worth of Bitcoin. That would make you eligible for a $25,000 loan through BlockFi. You can then take that $25,000, you can invest it in equities, you can invest it in real estate, commodities, you can even buy more cryptos with it if you want. And by doing so, you're sort of exercising some leverage there. And unlike a traditional loan where you have to pay back the principal plus interest, here you just pay the interest. Depending on when you decide to do this, that move in itself could be pretty risky. But in the legacy system, people do it all the time. They use their stocks as collateral to take out loans. They then use those loans to buy real estate. And by doing so, these people get a huge advantage over their peers because they're able to leverage their portfolios and maximize their investments. We'll go ahead and end this video by talking about the interest rates. Currently, BlockFi offers 4.9% on the first 3 Bitcoin that you deposit with them. They offer 3.2 for 3 or more Bitcoin that you deposit with them. Now, those rates for Bitcoin have dropped a little bit. And before, they were giving you, north of 5% on the first 5 to 10 Bitcoin that you deposited with them. But recently, they've adjusted the rates down and they've lowered the amount of Bitcoin that are eligible for that premium rate. So just know that these rates are subject to change. When you deposit your funds or your assets onto BlockFi, don't assume that you're going to be given those rates indefinitely. The only 2 assets that haven't changed are Litecoin and USD. In fact, USD has actually gone up. And as I mentioned earlier in my video, the CEO plans to increase those rates sometime in the near future. So if you're primarily using this account to earn interest on your USD, based on the platform's history, it's likely that these rates will roughly remain around this area. The largest fluctuation I've seen or witnessed on the platform is for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And that makes sense because these assets, they're very nascent. And in terms of their utility, there hasn't been a broad consensus on what these cryptos are going to be used for. Personally, I give Bitcoin being, the reserve currency narrative a lot of weight. In fact, I was buying into that narrative years ago, but clearly we haven't achieved mass consensus on that narrative. In my view, I think these rates are probably dependent on the trading activity because they are mostly used as a vehicle for speculation. And for that reason, I think a lot of platforms like BlockFi and Celsius lend to institutions who engage in arbitrage or exchanges that allow traders to margin trade. And if that's the case, it would make sense why during times of heightened volatility, the rates will go up, and during times of diminished volatility, the rates will come down. But for those of you who believe in Bitcoin potentially becoming, a global reserve asset, the next digital gold, even earning, 3 to 5%, 2 to 3% on Bitcoin, if you have a long-term investment horizon, will be more than enough to produce phenomenal returns. The analogy I oftentimes use is imagine buying gold pre-Bretton Woods. If you bought gold when it was in the $20 to $30 range, or if you started to buy gold when it was in the $20 to $30 range, and you dollar cost averaged into it on, let's say, a weekly or monthly basis since the 70s. And on top of that, you were given, let's say, a 3% yield on it. So the net result of that over the course of, let's say, a 30 to 40 year period, number one, gold has appreciated immensely since then. Number two, your investment would have been compounding. Number three, the interest that you earn every year would have gone up in value. So let's say gold was worth $30 and you got paid 3%. That 3% would be worth double once gold went to $60. It's the return multiplier effect that I talk about all the time in my Blockfi videos. And if Bitcoin achieves the status of becoming the new digital gold, the new global reserve asset, I think the yield that's provided by Blockfi and many others is more than enough. If you're chasing the highest yield for Bitcoin out of all the platforms I use, currently Celsius has the most competitive yield, but it only applies to the first Bitcoin that you deposit with them. So the first Bitcoin that you deposit with Celsius gives you a 6% interest rate. Anything after that gives you whatever their general interest rate is. I went over all the rates in a recent video. You can check that video out by clicking the upper right hand corner of your screen. But in that video, I showed everybody that the most recent rate provided by Celsius for any Bitcoin that you held over one was 2.89%. There's other platforms like BitTrue, which offer 5.3%. There's another platform called Crypto.com that offers 5.5%. But on that platform, you have to stake 500 MCO tokens to get that yield. And by the way, guys, I've done video reviews on all these platforms. You guys can go through my library and access all those videos if you want to do research on these platforms, which I strongly recommend because you want to know all the different pros and cons, the nuances amongst the platforms before you decide to commit any deposits onto any of these platforms. The CEO of Blockfi said in an interview that they're going to be coming out with credit cards that pay people rewards in Bitcoin. It's going to work just like any other credit card. You can take it to any vendor, any shop, make any purchase that you want to make. But the key difference here is that you're going to be paid back a cashback reward in Bitcoin. And that Bitcoin is going to be directly deposited into your Blockfi interest account. So the cashback that you receive in Bitcoin will automatically start earning interest for you. Now, this next bit is just pure speculation on my end, but I don't see why they wouldn't be able to deduct your outstanding balance from the assets that you keep on the Blockfi interest account. If my hunch is right, you could produce a passive income stream by just keeping your assets on the Blockfi platform. You can then utilize that same stream to make everyday purchases. And this is possible today. I have an account with Crypto.com. If you want to learn more about Crypto.com, just click the upper right hand corner of your screen. But I routinely use my Crypto.com card. Currently, you can get a 12% yield on your USD based stablecoin, which to my knowledge is the highest in the crypto market. Of course, you'll need to stake some tokens to get that rate. But even without staking tokens, for free, you can go ahead and earn a 10% yield on your USD peg stablecoins. You can then take the interest that you earn, which you'll be paid at weekly, to top off your Visa debit card. Once your Visa card is topped off, you can then take it to any vendor that accepts Visa and spend all the money that's loaded onto that card. Of course, the details for the Blockfi credit card haven't been released yet, but I definitely like where the space is going. Earning passive income on your digital assets and using that passive income for everyday spending. I can't wait until equities are tokenized, because once they're tokenized, there's no reason why you can do the same thing with those tokenized stocks. In fact, a lot of the brokerages take your stocks that you hold on their platforms and they give it to margin traders to trade with, and they keep the interest that they make using your equities. The difference here on these crypto-based platforms is that they're giving you a piece of the action. And if you watched the video until now, you guys should definitely join my Discord channel. Again, if you want to access that Discord channel, follow me on Twitter and send me a private message requesting access to that channel. And if you enjoy the content, you want to see more content like this, I plan to publish routine updates on my dad's Blockfi account. If that interests you, you definitely need to subscribe and click that notification bell. If you have any questions or feedback, make sure all that is expressed in the comment section below. And if you found any value in the content that I presented today, do me a huge favor by smacking that like button. With that being said, this is Crypto One Stop signing up. I'll talk to you folks next time.